We're going to talk with Tarik. Tarik, we've been talking with some people in the area, and we can't help but bring up past instances where there have been children, high-profile cases of children missing in our area.
Joy, that's right. And, you know, when you hear the names of these young kids we're going to talk about, if you're like me, your mind races back to where you were. You can actually still remember what you were doing when your worst fears were confirmed. Unfortunately, in the cases we're about to show you, the outcome was tragic. We're all hoping the resolution to Taylor Williams' case includes her being found safe.
It's any parent's worst nightmare, their child missing, where it must feel like the minutes are hours and the hours like days. In November of 1998, that nightmare started for the family of Maddie Clifton, an 8-year-old girl reported missing from their Southside neighborhood. Maddie had gone outside when she disappeared, prompting a 5-day search. On November 10th, her body was found under the waterbed of her 14-year-old neighbor. Josh Phillips told police he accidentally hit Maddie with a baseball and panicked, fearing he'd get in trouble. He said he then hit her with a bat and stabbed her to stop her from screaming. Phillips would eventually be convicted of first-degree murder. In 2004, a young boy named Jaquan Mosley and his mom Linda Wilkes went missing. Linda's burned body would be found a week later. Jaquan's remains were never found. Jaquan's father, John Mosley, was convicted of both murders in 2005. Jaquan's mother met with Mosley shortly before her death about paying for child support for Jaquan. Fast forward 3 years to 2007, the chilling murder and rape of 6-year-old Christopher Barrios, who was abducted from the front yard of his grandmother's house. Barrios' body was discovered 7 days later, just a few miles from where he disappeared. His killers, George, David, and Peggy Edenfield, were all accused of Christopher's abduction and murder. The young boy was sexually assaulted, tortured, and choked to death in what prosecutors call the worst 2 hours of his life. In 2009, in the town of Satsuma, 5-year-old Hailey Cummings vanished without a trace from her mobile home. To this day, no one knows what exactly happened to the young girl, despite several high-profile searches and pleas for help. It was difficult for anyone to imagine how an intruder might have broken into Hailey's mobile home unnoticed and abduct her without disturbing anyone inside. That same year, 7-year-old Summer Thompson was abducted while walking home from her Orange Park school. Summer's body was found 2 days later, 50 miles away in a Georgia landfill. Police zeroed in on Jared Harrell, a man being held on child pornography charges. Harrell avoided the death penalty by accepting a plea deal. In 2014, Cherish Periwinkle was abducted from a Walmart. She was raped and strangled to death by Donald Smith. And in 2015, 21-month-old Lonzie Barton went missing after his mother's boyfriend, Ruben Ebron, reported him missing. Police had their suspicions from the start, the case ending in tragedy when the 2-year-old's remains were found a month later in a wooded area.
Now, out of those 8 high-profile cases, 2 of those children's bodies were never found. And in only one of the cases, the Hailey Cummings case, no one was ever held responsible for her disappearance and assumed death.